So, this is a genuine question to anybody who is listening, wherever my little things show up. Do you, if you are a person of one of the monotheisms, is it true in your belief system that that you are saved? I've heard these phrases. I never know quite what they mean, so I'm genuinely ignorant. That you're saved by the deity or the son of the deity, and that you become a good person by obeying laws and reading the scriptures, etc. Because I've just encountered something which makes sense of that, and that does make logical sense to me, is that if I'm a person who says that I either have no deity or a different deity or several different deities, it naturally means that you would assume that I am not availing myself of the only source of goodness, which is your source of goodness, right? For you. What it came up in was an argument, and I said that we have a spate of very extremist Islamic incidents in the last 35 years, 40 years, or whatever it is. And I'm a yes, and I know. And we've come out of hundreds of years of very extremist acts by Christianity, of a different form, because they were usually the ruling power. The Christian power was the conquering colonial power, so they ruled, so they weren't insurgent reactions. And it doesn't matter which deity it is. Crazy Horse had a deity. Apparently, Nat Turner was extremely religious, but that's Christianity again. So I'm just wondering whether you, as a believing person in your heart of hearts, look at the rest of the world and say, well, they don't either willfully don't believe what I believe, have rejected it, which if you add will to the formula, it means that we are evil. I would be considered evil, and I think I am, and I think that's fair enough. I accept the charge. Except it's your definition. But I don't mean this to be like an interrogation, or an aggressive interrogation. I just wonder whether you would say that I, as a person who has either no God or has a panoply, let's say. I don't talk about them, so you'll never know. That's part of my religious feeling. That I do, so there's no books. There's no book for me to read. There's no book for me to follow. There's no 10 this or 7 that. So you must view me as other. And as you see yourself as being a follower of as far as I can gather from the things that I know about the monotheisms in Buddhism, they seem to be perfectly righteous and decent sets of parameters and behaviors and moralities and things like that. They do. I wouldn't agree with most of the Christian ones, especially around sexuality and sex and all those sorts of things. My God is one of my gods is a bit more Dionysian, but and part of the mission of Christianity has been to exterminate people whether they intended that, some of them did, whether they intended that, but it was an effect of this sense of superior righteousness, the one God, the whatever. So that's all, so that the attitude, you can look at me as being ignorant and a savage. That's one way of doing it. That would certainly cover the post-Columbus years in the Americas. Whatever. So I guess that one's compromise position would be, first off, respect me that I do have not a book, but I have a series of boundaries and not beliefs. I don't, or unless one can say I believe in the human being, which necessarily, by you being you and believing what you believe, and basically, I guess the basic difference is that, as far as I can gather from the outside, the three monotheisms assume that the human being is inherently sinful, nay, evil, and without God's guidance and help and assistance and the books and the prophets and all of that, we would be hopeless. My view is exactly the opposite, that we're not in fact hopeless, and that we do very well without that assistance. So those are the two things, and I would say that my wariness of you never amounts to I need to kill you, or assuming that you're inherently evil or whatever it is. That is apparently your view of me, or mine. That's borne out by history. So I just wanted to ask that, and if anybody who's encountering this and is a person of faith, give me a response. And there's no animus intended at all. It's just I've been trying to figure it out, and this chap that I encountered, he's clearly very comfortable with damning all Muslims. And that seems to be that seems to have to do particularly with, because he belongs to another monotheism. And that's been the history of monotheisms. They all damn each other and act on it. So, thank you.